All right, welcome everyone to the December 20th regular Town Council meeting. We will start off tonight with approval of the agenda. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Neepawa approves the regular meeting agenda for December 20th. Moved by Councilor Krossenchuk, seconded by Councilor Nadeau. All in favor? Against? Carried. And if you have all looked over this agenda, the minutes, any questions, concerns about the minutes? So the motion, be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Neepawa approves the minutes of the regular meeting and 2 public hearings that were held December 6th as circulated. Moved by Councilor Pottinger, seconded by Councilor Sisley. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we will move into the council reports. Does anyone have any council reports? Councilor Nadeau?
Last night we had a meeting with the Yellowhead Board, and the one thing that I wanted to highlight for the town is just that we have public skating that's running every Sunday and Monday. So it's 6 p.m. on Mondays, public skating. For residents, it's free of charge. Just come down to the rink. And on Sundays, it varies sometimes throughout the day, depending if there's a hockey game or tournament. So just good for residents to get access to the rink.
Councilor Sisley?
So we had the handyman meeting December 13th. There was 365 total trips in November. This included 2 trips to the casino, which were both full bus for those trips. They said they could actually go once a week if they had somebody that could take them down. We've decided to keep the registration on the bus, as there has been a lot of interest for doing more of those trips. They also did a trip to Brandon for shopping. There's interest to do a trip to Winnipeg for shopping, but Michelle at hand doesn't have the time to be able to be away for an entire day in Winnipeg. We provided rides for the co-op Christmas party. It was discussed about next year and the possibility of expanding that advertising more to shuttles for Christmas parties. I will be getting a Facebook page in place and have established an email address. They did not have a handyman email address. The Facebook page that was in place for handyman was put in place from the old contractor, and when they left, they deleted it. So it's just to get more visibility out there, so that'll be set up and everything will be ready to go for the new year. It was also discussed about the Ontario Curling Championship, and they will be approaching the organizers to see if handyman can be a shuttle for the curling championships. So. And the other meeting I was at was the vet board meeting. We met December 14th. We approved the financials for last year. There was a big discussion about the grant process. I found this interesting. So they're very appreciative of the town of Neepawa because the town of Neepawa puts their portion in immediately. They have to wait on some of the other RMs, and they cannot file for the government portion of their grant unless they have all the money in from the RMs in the town of Neepawa. So they were very thankful for how prompt the town is. Bert DeConing was able to repair a cattle chute in the back. A bull had got caught in it. So he was able to repair it without taking it out of the wall, which would have been a huge expense, but he managed to be able to keep that expense quite low. And we'll be meeting again in January to get some proper documentation signed, as there's many new members to the board.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Foster.
I am recently on the HAND committee, and they had sent out a HAND work annual report for 2022. So I just wanted to read it to everyone, just because it is kind of an interesting read. On behalf of the HAND board, I, Rod Shuttleworth, as chairperson, have found the HAND organization, Home Assistance for Neepawa and District, to be a very valuable and vital asset for Neepawa and the surrounding municipalities. The need for hand is steadily increasing as seniors today have greater longevity and proportionality. More of their vital daily life needs require a longer term of assistance. The hand committee is very pleased to have Michelle Ferguson as our new hand coordinator. She started in the beginning of October 2021 and has done a super job in her new position. Michelle's really enjoyed filling the needs of our community. Some of her tasks include a community meal program, lifelines, housing info, referrals to other support groups, safety aid programs, volunteer income tax program, applying for grants, hand service providers such as handyman, housekeeping, reaching out to inform our community the help that they can receive from hand. Michelle has done a fantastic job, as well as many others. Thankfully, the COVID pandemic is mostly over now, and we can get back to a little more normalcy. Instead of just takeout meals, the community meal program is now starting to provide meals again in the dining area as well. We have to thank our coordinator and her staff for their selfless dedication and commitment to their work, since it has not been an easy time for them. I believe that one of the important mandates of the councils and the hand board should be to promote the benefits of hand to its residents. Do you, as a town or municipal councillor, really know what hand is all about? As we age and our health wanes, we become all the more needy of hand. Please help get the word out that hand is there to help all of us. Thank you. Respectively, Rod Shower.
Yes, very good. Yeah, several of us around the table here have worked with that group, and yes,
Yeah, we're having
as some of us start to age a little more, it's good to know about the services there.
Yeah, it was actually, you know, it's an interesting read for me. I've learned a little bit more about what it really entitles. So we will have our annual meeting in March. So they're just trying to catch me up to what services they provide. So I just wanted to do that for the public so they kind of have an idea as well.
All right, anyone else? Okay, I guess we'll move on to Manager of Operations.
Thank you, Mayor Headley. Well, it's kind of been quiet the last 2 weeks, there's no snow it fell, obviously, but prior to that, we had a few construction meetings, one regarding the Park Lake rehabilitation, and with Tricor and Stantec. We had a quick site meeting regarding works there. Those will be a pretty regular occurrence. We also had a meeting with our new contractor, TL Penner, for the Phase 2 wastewater treatment plant. So that was just a kick-off construction meeting, just kind of get an introduction and then ensure that all documents are signed and everything's in place. So those are moving along. Aside from that, like the big snowfall was a bit of a learning curve again for snow clearing, so contractors were out. So portions of the town are better than others, but we're still getting the hang of it with some new operators clearing. Also remind residents that the snow gates cannot be used at all times, so they have to bear in there, and unfortunately will have to shovel away that snow ridge that's in their driveway. That's not a courtesy the town comes to clear afterwards. It's a privilege when we can use the gates, so it's just a reminder. For those that are incapable, maybe the elderly, I would suggest talking to your neighbor real kindly and see if they have some young children that come shovel it out for you. Or there's many contractors that can be utilized around town. That's everything.
Okay. Thank you, Denise. Any questions?
I'm just going to add to that, the Titans actually are very willing to shovel those.
All right, good to know. Excellent. All right, correspondence. Colleen?
Several pieces of correspondence from the Neepawa District Chamber of Commerce, and they want you all to know that they are pleased to announce that they're hosting the AGM on January 30th. There will be a meal and a guest speaker. The 2022 Business of the Year Award will be presented and much more. So if you're interested in attending, I can share the connection information, which basically tickets can get at the chamber office. So if you want to go, let me know, or contact the chamber. And also they're looking at if anybody's interested in sponsoring the event, they would appreciate and put that money towards hosting the event as well, to cover some costs that would be over and above the ticket sales. So.
Okay, well, it's good to know. I think some of us also attend through different work organizations. Yes.
The town is a member of the chamber, is that right? Do we send representation as the town to the dinner?
Our economic development officer quite often will go and we cover the ticket for her. I'm going to believe this year, probably, she will be abstaining from that this year.
Should we consider sending somebody?
You guys.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea, I'm not sure.
Should have some representation.
Mayor.
I'm there,
asking you that.
I'm there as a sponsor.
If anybody wants to connect with me then, if you're thinking about it or have some time or something, just we can talk about it.
All right. Anything else?
And the first class, that's it.
That's it, correspondence.
Well, other than the many emails and phone calls about snow or garbage,
Yeah. Yes.
we won't go through the list. We'd be here a long time.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess section 7 here, we're on to finance, and everybody would have got their financial statements. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, be it resolved that we approve the financial statement for the month ended November 30th. Moved by Councillor Nadeau, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. So the next is outstanding AR utility accounts to taxes and write-offs, amounts uncollectible, and this is something that we do each year. I'll just go through and I'll read the resolution. Whereas Section 252 of the Municipal Act authorizes a municipality to collect debts in the same manner as a tax may be collected or enforced under the Act, and whereas nearing the end of 2022, there are outstanding utilities and accounts receivable charges that remain unpaid or uncollectible, and therefore be it resolved that all those accounts that remain outstanding as of December 31st, 2022 from the attached list be hereby added to the property tax roll, and further be it resolved that for the single outstanding AR account that cannot be added to the property tax roll due to a debtor not owning property in the town of Neepawa, we hereby approve the cancellation and write-off of that account as uncollectible. So that's the resolution, and I need a mover and seconder. Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Sisley. All in favor? Carried, opposed? Carried. Interim operating budget.
So this is just a resolution we do annually in December under the Municipal Act with closing of our calendar year kind of December 31st. We have no authority to spend money until the passing of the actual financial plan in May of 2023. So this is just a resolution based on estimations received for expenditures for that period of time until the passing of the budget, and we ask that you support the recommendation of the Director of Finance to approve those amounts.
Okay, any questions? I'll read out the resolution. Be it resolved that in accordance with Section 163 of the Municipal Act, the Council of the Town of Neepawa has made provisional estimates of operating and capital expenditures of the municipality for the period of January 1st, 2023 until the adoption of the annual estimates. Now therefore be it resolved that these provisional estimates be hereby adopted. Government services, $410,000, protective services, $300,000, transportation services, $400,950, environmental environmental health services, $172,000, environmental development services, $20,000, public health and welfare services, $197,700, Economic Development Services, $80,405. Recreational and Cultural Services, $125,000. Physical Services, $85,150 for a total of $1,791,205. Operating, utility operating requirements, $650,000. General capital requirements, $420,000, and utility capital requirements, $400,000. Moved by Councillor Kostanchuk, seconded by Councillor Pottinger. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We're on to Neepawa, the housing needs study.
The town of Neepawa is the third fastest growing town in Manitoba, increasing 23.3% since 2016 and roughly 27% since 2011. The growth sustained with immigration driven by employment demand. Central to the strategic management of residential growth is the understanding of housing needs and demands. What we're looking for is to proceed with an assessment that would provide a clear description of the current housing market in Neepawa and emerging opportunities in the community. In the midst of this growth is the recent hospital announcement creating opportunity and increased demand on our housing stock. So essential to the town would be understanding the residential impacts and opportunities of our growth rate and the new hospital, and developing a strategy to assist with development decisions based on those needs and demands. In order to better understand and plan for Neepawa's housing market, a request for proposal was issued for a housing needs and demand study and a housing strategy. Our economic development actually received 3 proposals, Scotland, Murray, WSP, and Urban Systems, and the recommendation of administration would be to proceed based on no bid of Scotland, Murray,
No question, this doesn't have a 13 and 19 doesn't equal 15.
No, she's missing an additional fee line, but the bottom, the actual cost is the 50,000. I can't ask her, she's right. Those are legit, I've seen the bottom ones.
Okay, yes, along with being one of the fastest growing communities, that creates challenges in itself, and definitely housing is a concern and something that we should be studying. So I'll read the resolution here. Be it resolved that we accept the proposal of Scotland, Miller, and Murray in the amount of $42,698.25 to complete a housing needs demand study and housing strategy. So moved by Councillor Sisley, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Animal control, Polly?
So as everybody knows, Chad Campbell is our animal control officer. We were securing him under 1-year terms. He is looking forward and suggested he'd like to do this again for 2023. There are no increases in the rates. We're paying a retainer, a monthly retainer of $400, and then depending on what kind of services he provides, there is additional fees. So if you're in agreement, we're recommending to move forward with Chad Campbell for 2023.
Okay, the resolution, be it resolved that the Council of Town of Neepawa authorize the Mayor and Chief Administrative Officer to enter into an agreement with Chad Campbell to provide animal control services for the Town of Neepawa from January 1st, 23 to December 31st, 23. Moved by Councillor Kostanchuk, seconded by Deputy Mayor Parrott. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Westlake Employment Skills and Services.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, is that-
So this is just following up from the December 6th meeting. I brought you a piece of correspondence from Westlake Employment looking to have a member of council appointed to their board. At that particular time, I think Councilor Nadeau had already suggested obviously he is a member of the board, and council made his decision that we would just do a formal appointment as a representative from town council unless there are other persons really wanting to do this.
Okay. Be it resolved that we hereby appoint Councillor Nadeau to serve as council representative for Westlake Employment Skills and Services Center Board for 2023. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, zoning bylaw. Yeah.
Yes, so the planning district received an application to amend the town of Neepawa zoning bylaw. The applicant is Philip Cyclicki, and the property owner is Clarence Bagg. The lot itself is, legal descriptions, lot 1, block 2, plan 6965. I guess more specifically, as there's no address to the property, it's on Gill Drive. There's a parcel of land to the west of like where Neepawa Plumbing and Heating is. It's that portion of land. The request is, it's going to be two parts. There'll be a map amendment to rezone the portion of the property from its current MH industrial light to the proposed RMH residential mobile modular home. And the second part would be, part of the amendment would be in the bulk use table, would be make provisions for multi-use modular mobile home within the RMH zone. And the reason in support of this application is just to allow for location of a proposed modular home development on property. The applicant wishes to locate, it's got 4 buildings, each building consisting of, I believe it's 5 these bachelor suite units inside of them. So just, I guess just for those who haven't gone through this, our bylaws are prepared by our regional planning office. And in order for them to prepare the bylaw, they always want a resolution by council, just noting that the application has been reviewed and it's something that council is willing to entertain. Also further to this, it also is, it's been reviewed through the planning district board, and the bylaw process to amend the development plan has already been initiated, and the bylaw has been created. Process to change the development plan for the planning district is already in the works. So. Anything else?
I'll maybe just add to that, you are not debating this topic tonight. What you're debating is the fact that we're going to request community region plan to create a bylaw, that's all.
I guess just to expand on the bulk table right now in our modular home zone, RMH, it only allows, it only makes provisions for single unit buildings. So we'll do a bit of work with planning office as well, just to get the proper wording on it. But it's probably it would probably put like a line in the bulk use table as multi-use mobile, or say multi-use residential as a conditional use in the RMH zone. That gives council the flexibility to review further multi-unit construction on RMH zone sites. So. And still keeping the regular standards for the existing RMH. So.
Okay, any other questions? No, there. All right, we have a resolution. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Neepawa requests community and regional planning to prepare bylaw number 3220-23 to amend the Town of Neepawa zoning bylaw number 3184-18 to reclassify lot 1, block 2, plan 6965 from the current ML industrial light zone to the proposed RMH residential mobile modular zone in order to allow for the location of a proposed mobile modular home development. Be it further resolved that the bylaw also make provisions for multi-use modular mobile homes with the RMH residential mobile modular zone. Jeff, can you make that up? carried.
Try to get top of it there, just-
Oh.
You did well. 8.5, so PDH 16 is water and sewer infrastructure.
So this is a resolution. As you know, when we go forward to discuss the new hospital, very clearly there has to be sewer and water infrastructure there. We did have a meeting with Manitoba Water Services Board last week to discuss what might be possible in their capital planning budget. As you know, every year we send in a list of 5 capital projects. This would be, I guess, our top priority project beyond the installation of a new well at Oberon and twinning the line, which we passed a resolution last meeting to get support of the Water Services Board. In our discussion with them last week, they asked that we actually proceed with another resolution to have the water and sewer infrastructure to service the hospital area on the southwest 34, 14, 15 placed into the queue somehow. They do not guarantee any funding for us at this point, but we think to have services available there for 2024, the facility trying to open for 2025, we need to be prepared and ready. So I'm asking you to support a resolution this evening looking for technical and financial assistance from the Water Services Board. Should there be some available, or we can figure out how we can lobby to get some available, great, but we will be planning for a budgetary process within the next 2 years to make sure that we can afford the expenditure should that not occur. So looking for your support.
Yes, I don't think that will be hard to do. Be it resolved that we hereby request technical and financial assistance from the Manitoba Water Services Board for the installation of new water and sewer infrastructure east of Neepawa for the purpose of servicing a new regional hospital. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then subdivision.
So this is subdivision 4437-22-8413 of Daniel and Leanne Zephyr on the southwest 34, 14, 15. The owner of the subject property wishes to subdivide their existing yard site from the surrounding land, and there is a dwelling on the property. Access is existing and is onto PDH 16. The property has a septic field and gets water from municipal pipe services. The flag portion of the proposed lot to the north is intended to connect at a future date to a road being opened as part of a separate subdivision, although I'll be clear, the east-west road will not be built for the whole entire length of that property. It will only be built to service the hospital property, running, looking from the east traveling west to the western extension of the parcel that will be set aside for the hospital. So that's a little bit ways down when there might be a connection to his yard site to that particular internal roadway. Through the circulation process, Terranet Land Title says that a one-lot plan of subdivision as proposed is required. Hydro will be looking for easements. The planning board basically reviewed the application and is in favor of the application. When you look to Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure, or Highways Department as they're known, they do not object to the subdivision. They are prepared to allow the existing access on the PTH 16 to remain for the proposed lot until the new east-west public road is constructed. I will speak to that point in such that we met with the minister last week to talk about that. The ability to connect to PTH 16 right now is very critical for Mr. Zettler. And looking at the elevation and topography of this particular lot and trying to reach into the back of this yard site into the agricultural portion is very difficult to come up the residential access point to get back there with semis and agricultural trucks. Under a previous subdivision, as we all know for the hospital, he has to lose, and it's mentioned in this one as well, he has to lose the eastern access that he currently uses for his farming operation. And he understands that. He knew that was going to happen. The functional design for PTH 16 also indicates that at some point in the future, both accesses will be gone. By basically telling him under this subdivision that his accesses to his property should both be removed, we are totally inconveniencing this guy. So by having him actually spend money to connect to a road that isn't going to be built right away. So we did lobby for him at a meeting with Manitoba Infrastructure. I have more recently got confirmation from Manitoba Highways. They will confirm that the western access to the existing resident can remain in place, provided the use does not increase. However, if there are operational issues at this location, they would look at removing it sooner, but that will be done through a discussion and concurrence with the landowner. So that's all we ask for. that these discussions be had with Mr. Settler when this occurs, so that he can participate in those discussions and not be basically demanded. So as much as we see his interest in serving the community, and he did sell a piece of land, we all understand he did get paid, we were totally inconveniencing him by the fact that he's going to lose something that he, is paid for and done, and then incur costs to alter his whole yard site and his farming operations to adjust to that, and that just simply was not fair. So the other condition was that he does agree, though, however, to removing the east access, which he understands and he knows will go forward. So there were no other response or comments on this, other than the proposed lot one that will be created in the AR-R and O zone. And the minimum requirements under the zoning bylaw for that particular zoned area are 20 acre size with a site width of 300 feet. He's actually severing off a 14.98 acre site, and he will meet the width requirements. So the recommendation is approve the subdivision subject that he will come in and get a variation in order to reduce the minimum site area from 20 acres to 14.98 in the AR-R zone.
Okay, any questions? Okay, so the motion is, be it resolved that we approve subdivision application 4437-22-8413 of Dan and Leanne Zettler to subdivide their existing yard site from southwest 341415, subject to obtaining a variance to reduce the minimum required area from 20 acres to 14.98 acres in the AR-R zone. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we're getting down to the last item here, and that is with the way that the next meeting falls right after New Year's Eve. We don't believe that next week there's going to be a lot of work done around the community or a lot of business done, so we're suggesting to council the January 3rd meeting. In order to do that, we have to have a resolution. Any questions? Okay, be it resolved that we hereby counsel a regular meeting of council for January 3rd, 2023. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we're down to our last item here, but just before we adjourn, I think that as on behalf of council, administration, and staff, we want to wish all our residents and everyone within the community a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So, all the best. Be it resolved that the council of the town of Neepawa do now adjourn this regular council meeting at 7:33 p.m. Moved by Councillor Kostenchuk, seconded by Councillor Pottinger. All in favor? Carried.